Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to continue our redo of AZ104 series of labs, which I really started in November, never or October, never really got a chance to complete all of them. So we have so far completed all of this in the last 2 months. So in this lab today, we're going to look at the virtual machine, and that lab was updated very recently. So if you go inside this lab, okay, let's look at the architecture diagram real quick. So this lab is probably going to take us about an hour and really a lot of tasks. In the first task, we're going to create a resource group. Then within the resource group, we're going to get some resources. Going to have a virtual network, okay, 1080.0.0/20. Within that, we have a subnet, 1080.0.0/24. We're going to have two different virtual machines in there. We're also going to have a storage account, and we'll be uploading some scripts most likely and placing that in the storage account. That would be task 2. And then for the task 3 to 7, we're going to create another resource group AZ10408RG02. We'll have another completely different subnet with a completely different address space, 1082.0.0/20. We'll have a different subnet 0, 1082.0.0/24. Inside that, we're going to have a virtual machine skill set, a load balancer, an IP address, and the network security group. So let's just get started with the lab. So instruction, deploy zone resilient Azure virtual machines by using the Azure portal and an Azure Resource Manager template. So I'm logged into my portal on the right. Okay, if you do not have one, please sign it up. It's free. uh, and then in the Azure portal, search for and select virtual machines. Over here, what I'll do, I'll search for virtual machine and it will show up. Click on it, and on the what we'll do, we'll click on the create and the virtual machine. So click on the create virtual machine, and then we're going to fill up the information that I have here. Okay, the name of the virtual machine. So subscription is good. Let me just see if I can move this one like that. Okay. Now for the resource group, let's create a new resource group, create new, and put the name of the resource group. Name of the virtual machine is gonna go here. Region, I like the East US. That's East US was going to select. I want to click, choose that. Now this time availability option, we are going to create high availability, okay, zone resilience. So we are going to use the availability zone, and it has to be selected at the deployment time. You cannot change that. So make sure that you are selecting the correct availability option at the time of deployment. So availability zone could be three different zones. Now this one, we're going to choose one. You see the option is 1, 2, and 3. We're going to put it on zone 1. And then security type is something new that is coming up. I have not messed with this too much. I'm going to go with the standard. um, and then what we'll do, for the image, we are going to use Windows Server 2019 data center. So click on that one. For myself, I have the Ubuntu is selected by default. I'm going to go and choose the Windows Server 2019 Gen 2, which is generation 2. As your Spot instance, we don't need that. uh, so do not do anything there. And then size standard D2SV3. D2SV3 is automatically selected. I'm not going to change anything. Let's use our very secret student and the password. Okay, so there we go. And public inbound ports, we are not going to allow anything. Okay, so just hit none. And would you like to use an existing Windows Server license? I don't have any, so don't do anything there. So here, next, hit desk and make sure that you're using premium. It doesn't really matter, but just use the premium SSD. And for the encryption time, you don't have to do anything, and just go with the default and do not enable anything. Enable ultra disk compatibility, just don't choose anything. Go to networking, and in the networking tab, what we'll do, we're going to create a new virtual network. You could have done the whole networking thing even before you started deploying the virtual machine, but this portal allows you to create the network at the time of deployment as well. So let's just follow the lab. So right now what we'll do, create a network. We'll say create new, okay, and create the new what we'll do, name is gonna be this AC10408 R201 VNet. It automatically picked up this name as the default. Address range 108000. So this address range is not gonna work. I'm gonna change that to 1080. And address subnet name over here, let's put the subnet name as subnet 0. And for the subnet net, our address space is going to be /24. Okay, /24. So that is a slice of this particular address space, and that's pretty much all I need. That hit okay. Okay, so that will bring us back over here. And what is going to happen, so this is the subnet, this is the public IP. Let's see the public IP. They have not even mentioned anything, but look at that, a public IP is automatically selected. So Nick, just have the basic for now. I don't think they have said anything else in here. Oh, they do. Setting subnet 0. Subnet is subnet 0. I'm just gonna double checking this. Everything else looks good. Subnet 0. Public IP is the default. Just don't change anything in that case. Nick security group is the basic. Public inbound port is none. Accelerated networking is off, so we can turn it off. Place the virtual machine being behind a load balancing solution. No, we are not creating any, so don't choose anything. Go to management and create a virtual machine here. Boot diagnostic enable custom storage account. Okay, said that's already turned on. Diagnostic storage account, accept the default value. So that's default, so I don't have to do anything in here. And patch orchestration is manual update. So this is also something that I'm going to change to manual. Okay, I'm not going to automatically allow the OS to do all the updates. There you go. So I'm not going to mess with any other feature at the moment. That's all we need. um, then hit next to go to the advanced, and in this one we really were not changing anything. Review the available setting without modifying any of them, and then just create the review and create. So that should catch us the first virtual something we have missed. If you ever see something like that, you will see something we have missed configuring in one of these tabs, and this tab has the red dot, so that is telling me there's something we have missed here. And if you come back over there, there we go. So we probably didn't provide the password twice, so let's just go back, get the password, put it in here, put it there. Okay, so now both passwords match. Now review and create. So this time it's running the final validation. Okay, and as soon as the validation is done, okay, I'm going to hit the create and it will start the deployment of this virtual machine. So we are just done with the step 10. So the next thing we're going to do, the deployment blade, click on template. This is where we're going to create. Okay, so you can really click on right now, but what I want to do, I want to just give it a minute for this deployment to be done. And as soon as this deployment is done, we're going to go click on the template and use the template to deploy another virtual machine, and you will see how easy it is. Let me pause it for a second. It's actually done, even I didn't have to pause. So this deployment is done, and what you're learning here really, if I now click on the template, Okay, it brought up the template, the ARM template that as you use to deploy the whole thing that we have configured via the portal. So over here, review the template, represent the deployment in progress, and click deploy. So here, if you click on deploy again, okay, it will bring up another window here. A lot of things will be automatically pre-configured based on the last deployment of the virtual machine. So what we want to make sure that we may need to modify a few things. Okay, on the custom deployment, let's specify the following settings. So network interface name. So resource group, let's use this one. Let's see, public IP address, public IP address. Where's my public IP address? Public IP address. Okay, so other one was VM0, so this one is gonna be VM1. So we're gonna change that to VM0 to VM1. So that is public IP address. So NIC, the NIC network. What is network interface name? Network interface name. I'm gonna change that to this. Network interface name is this. Let's see. Virtual machine NSG didn't change. Okay, NSG is still, you're gonna use the same NSG from VM0, which is okay. Let's see, what else do I have? Virtual interface name we have done. IP address we have fixed. IP address we have fixed. Virtual machine name you gotta change. So the name of the virtual machine, where is the virtual machine name? The virtual machine name, let's change that one. No space. And then virtual machine computer name is the same thing. Virtual machine computer name, same thing. Virtual machine resource group, I have already changed that, I think already. Virtual machine resource group, where is the resource group? AC10408 RG1, I have did that. Okay. User admin username password. What is admin username? Is already selected, so password is the one that I have to provide. Okay, enable hotspotting is false. Now this one I need to put it in zone 2. That's how I'm gonna have zonal redundancy. And here you need to modify parameters corresponding to the properties of the distinct resources that you're deploying by using the template, including the virtual machine and its network interface. So if you look at it, the rest of the thing should, you can use the, the way it is. Okay, address prefix is still going to be there. It's still going to be in subnet 0. Subnet name is subnet 0. So things look good for us now. So now I'm just going to create a review and create. It will still go through the validation and everything looks good. So we're going to hit create. So that will create the second virtual machine, which is going to be the VM1. Okay, AZ104-08-VM1. And in the next task, we're going to configure Azure virtual machines by using virtual machine extensions. So just give me a minute and let it get deployed. All right, everyone, before I move to the task 2, I want to quickly show you what we have really done. Okay, we have deployed 2 virtual machines within 2 different availability zones, and I would recommend that you read a little bit about the Azure regions and availability zone and how you can use that to get high availability. Okay, so with this availability zone, you can have like 99.99% availability if you want. So if you look at it in a Azure region, okay, you can have up to maximum of 3 availability zone. And as I said, these, you have to configure your availability zone at the time of your deployment. You cannot change that. You cannot go back to a virtual machine and update that. You cannot do that. And if you just read at least one line, availability zones are physically separate locations within each Azure region that are tolerant to local failure. So what will happen, even if the virtual machine availability zone 1 fails, you can still pick up the other virtual machine that will still continue to work. So any failures that will not impact the other availability zone. All right, so let's come back to our lab now. So configure the Azure virtual machine using the virtual machine extension. Okay. In this task, we're going to install the Windows web server role on two virtual machine we have deployed. Okay, so now there are so many things you can do. Active Directory, DNS, DHCP. So in this particular task, we are going to do the Windows web server. Okay, so what we are going to do, um, we are going to use a custom script virtual machine extension. That is what we're going to use. So in the Azure portal, search for storage account. So let's see if we have any storage accounts. So start with storage account. Okay, and that is a default storage account. I don't want to use that one. So what we want to do on the storage account, click the entry represent diagnostic storage account you created in the previous task. Okay, so this one maybe we can use. Let's click. Okay, so let's just click on that one. We're just gonna use this one uh, for our work. I don't remember creating, well, the diagnostic storage account where the diagnostics of the virtual machine will be stored is going to be here. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to create a container, so that's going to be a blob storage, and in this one you need to create a container first. Name of the container is going to be script. Okay, and we want to restrict that to private. Okay, it's already selected as private, so I'm just going to hit create. And back on the storage account blade, displaying the list of containers, click on, so just come back, click on scripts. So that has given me the container. Now we are on the storage account under this top level container name or storage account name. Within that I'm inside the container which is called the scripts. Now we need to get the script and upload it here. Okay, then we'll call the script from our virtual machine. And the script is AZ10408 install IISPS1. So it's a PowerShell script. So to get to that one, we have to go to all files, labs 08. So let's just come back over here. Instructions, labs. Let's come back over here and just make it big. So all files 08. This is the install script. I'll just click on it and click on the raw and let's save it on a desktop, and then I have a folder that I have created. So let's go back a couple more times again, go back in here, go back to our instructions, labs, and we're working on the virtual machine one, and we're where we are about here. So it's the storage account here. So we're going to upload the script to the storage account now. So now from here I'm going to click get the PS1, hit open and hit upload. Okay, so that has uploaded the script for me and it says, hey, upload is completed, everything is good. All right, so it's there. Now what we can do, we can go to the virtual machine. So let's go to the VM0 first. So let's copy that, just search for this one here. Okay, and it will give you the list. So click on that one, and in here we'll go to the settings and then extensions plus applications. So go to your settings. Where is my setting? Okay, setting. Okay, if you don't see the, sometimes these blades are like hundreds of them, just search it here. Okay, setting. Okay, this looks like there's no setting in here. uh, it should just look for this one, extension plus application. Let's see if you can get that one, extension plus application. So now I got to that one. So this is actually under settings. Okay, so if I take that one out and just to show you, this is my settings. So what they're saying, under the setting, go to extension application. You can do it this way as well, but the quicker way would be just search for what you want to go to or wherever you want to go to. So let's just click on that one, and here there's nothing, no extension is currently being applied. We can hit add, and it's saying here install an extension. Okay, we want to click for, let's see, click the add button here. What do we need to do? it, then click add. I have no add, so let's just make it this little bit big so we can get to the add buttons here. Here's the add, so this is what I need to add. So once it says add, it's going to tell me what do you need to add. On the install an extension blade, click custom script extension and then hit next. So over here, what we need, just search for the custom script extension. You got that one, click that one and then hit next. Okay, so now I can make it smaller. Now in this one from custom script extension blade, click browse. Okay, so script file required, I'm going to browse and now automatically it's going to the storage account. Okay, so from this storage account, click the name of the storage account. So I'm going to click that one, go to the scripts and then select this PS1 and hit select. Okay, then I don't need to pass any argument, that is optional. And then back on the, so what we need to do here, review and create, and that's about it. And then I'll say create, so that will do the trick. So now its deployment is in progress. So I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, the deployment is still in progress. So what is going on at the moment is installing the IIS web server role to my virtual machine. So once this is done, what we'll do, we'll go to the other machine, okay, and from the other machine, we'll use something a different approach. We'll go to the automation section. So let's just get this done and do it that way. Let me pause this one until this deployment is completed. All right, so this deployment is done. So again, kind of remember what we have done. Over here, we went to the VM0. From the VM0, we wanted to go to the extensions and then applications. From here, we wanted to add what is the extension that we want to add. And then there's so many different things that you can do. Okay, AWS Windows login, pipeline, this, that, save, Datadog agent, Dynatrace, HP. I mean, unbelievable amount of stuff is already here. Okay, let's see what else do you have. What do we have? CrowdStrike. We don't have. Do I have DNM? Do I have Symantec? Okay, Symantec we do. Okay, so from here we did the PowerShell. Okay, PowerShell. Yeah, these are still configurations. Something we also we can have. So that is what we have used. Okay, and we actually use just this one, configure custom script. So here we just did custom script extension, and since this is a PowerShell script, we just said next, and it allowed us to pick up a script, and this script was located in a storage account. Okay, now this time what we're gonna do, we are going to use the template, uh, use we're going to use the ARM template to do some of that stuff instead of doing everything manually. So really, we're done up to this point, okay, or step 12. Okay, so now for the VM1, let's go and find that one. So we are on step 13. Go there, find the VM1, and let's see. Let's just say VM one more time. Put it there. Here's the VM1. Click on that one. So here, last time we went to the extension, and this time we're gonna go down to automation. Okay. So automation section would be down here. We're gonna go to the export template. Okay. Again, it's gonna give us the template that was used to deploy this virtual machine. So we're gonna click on deploy. Okay. Now on the custom deployment blade, we're gonna click on edit template. So that will let us edit the ARM template that we have. Now in the edit template blade, in the section displaying the content of the template, insert the following code starting with line 20 uh, directly under the resources line. So let's see line 20. This is the resources line. Okay, so just copy this code. What you're really doing, you are deploying Microsoft Compute virtual machine extensions, and you are also installing the Microsoft Compute custom script extension, both of them. And you are saying that, hey, also pass all of that, like Windows feature, web server. So everything that we have done from the storage account, you're using the Azure automation to do that. So I can copy this one. Let's just hit enter, paste everything, and it should be good to go. And a lot of time I right click and say format document, so that again reformats the document real nicely. Hit save, and that's about it. Once you have done that, okay, I can click save and then review create. And what is going to happen, it will update the deployment with the new stuff that we wanted. So it's going to install the extensions, okay, and it will install our web server inside this particular virtual machine. So two different ways you have learned to do the deployment. And let's see, so this is where we are. So it's saying that this deployment shouldn't take more than about 3 minutes. Okay, once that is done, to verify the custom script extension based configuration was successful, go back to VM1 blade. In the operations sections, click run command. In the list of commands, click PowerShell script. Okay, all right, so basically it's just asking, it's just doing a web request to a particular URI to validate whether your deployment was successful or not. So just give me a minute. I'm going to pause. Once this is done, we'll come back and do some validation work here. All right, so this deployment is also done. So the next thing that we want to do is some validation. So here we're going to go back to the VM1 blade. So you can just click on just the particular virtual machine. So just search for the virtual machine. Up, actually, search for this one more time and select the next one. So this is going to be the virtual machine. And in that virtual machine, we are going to go down to the operations. Let's see, where is the operations? So PERA operations. Now wait for a second. All right, the operations blade is really over here. And what we'll do, we'll go down to the run command. Again, a lot of times, as I said, all I do is just type run, and that gets me the blade that I want to go to. So if you click the run command, it will let you run a whole bunch of type of different commands from the portal, but you will be running the command inside the virtual machine. So we want to do the run PowerShell script, so that one. And what we really want to check is this. From this virtual machine, which is the virtual machine 1, we are going to check whether the web server is available from virtual machine 0. Okay, so this is 1080.04 is the other virtual machine. So if you run this script, okay, and again over here you can read the use basic parsing parameter is necessary to eliminate dependency on Internet Explorer to complete execution of the command that. So that is nice. So let's see, the script execution is progress. Uh, the another way you can check is go find the public URL. So it's just while this is going on, you can also do and here it says okay, so 200, okay, everything looks good. So your web service properly running. And what is saying, you can also go to the other virtual machine and do the same thing to make sure that your web server actually properly got installed in this VM. The other way you can validate that, okay, go to virtual machines. Now these virtual machines, this is the public IP. So if I just copy this IP and put it in here, let's see if I get anything. If I don't get anything, it might be that my firewall is not on, not open, and that is why they are probably asking you to just do it from inside the virtual machine. Yeah, that makes sense. there's no firewall that's on, so you cannot just use the public IP to get to the my web server just yet. Okay, but when we install our virtual network connectivity from one network to another, is there is no firewalls. You should be always be able to get there. All right, if you really want to do that, go to the other one, go to VM0, and do the same thing. Do a run command from here. Go to PowerShell script. Let's ping, not ping. Let's run this command. Invoke web request, and this is now from VM0. You're invoking the IIS server that is running at 10.80.05 and see what kind of output you get. If you get OK again, so you know that your installation of web server happened properly in both of the virtual machines, and we should be ready to do our test 3. Yeah, so this time it's also said, hey, okay, content hello world from this. So the response from the server was HTTP 101, okay, and all that stuff, and that's what we wanted. So we are done with the test 2. So now to scale compute and storage, there may be many needs. You may have to increase the size or increase the compute. So in this test, what we'll do, we're going to start working with VM0. So let's just go to that one again, and there's my VM0. And we're going to go to the size, and we are going to resize that one. So here is my size. Okay, so this, what is chosen, what is highlighted, is the correct size, and uh, we are going to use standard ds1 underscore v2. So that was a general. What is my ds1 v2? Okay, so this is one. So we had it at ds2 v3. We want to change that to ds1 v2. Okay, and here you can click on resize. So that is going to resize my virtual machine. And it just say choose just another size if this is not available. For us, it was available, so that's what we're doing. Now on the same machine, let's go to the day. Well, let's give it a second, uh, because I just want to show you that if there's an error or anything, I don't want to rush. So let me just pause for a second. All right, it says the resize was successful. There was no problem. So if I click on that one, resize virtual machine, successfully resize machine to this and that. That's about it. It's one click of a button, and everything is done. All right, now let's work on the disk. So here's my disk, and right now we have there's only one disk there, and what we'll do, we'll create and attach a new disk, and that will be this. So just click on that. Now let's give the disk a new name. That's my disk name. Premium SSD is already selected, so just stay with that. And size is gonna be 1024 gigabits. Okay, and that's about it. And then what we'll do, uh, and then we're gonna back on the VM0 disk player, under disk, create and attach new disk. Hold on, the VM. So we are still here. Create and manage disk. We did that. Are we doing another one? Looks like we're doing another one. Let's make it little bit bigger, okay? So they're saying do it one more time, and do this data disk 1. Okay, so that was data disk 0, that is data disk 1, premium, this time again 1024 024. and rest of them are okay. So we created two managed days, okay, platform managed key. And what we're gonna do now, now we can hit the save. Okay, so now it's creating two different disks, and it will attach them to the virtual machine. Now on the AC104 VM0 blade in the operations section, click the run command. Okay, again, over here under this setting section, that's the operation. That is the run command. Again, I usually do run, and the run will show up. Click on the run command. So what run command do I need to run? Again, run the PowerShell script. So click on the PowerShell script and type the following and run to create a new drive Z consisting of the two new attached disk with a simple layout and fixed provisioning. So copy that one, put it in there, and just read our script just a little. Okay, so the script that I have, uh, it's a new storage pool. Friendly name is going to be storage pool 1, and the storage subsystem friendly name is going to be Windows Storage physical disk. So read through this. A new virtual disk, storage pool friendly name, storage pool 1, friendly name virtual disk 1, size 2046 GB, resilience is setting simple, provisioning type is fixed, and then initiate disk, virtual disk, get virtual disk friendly name virtual disk 1, and then here's the partition, disk number 4, use maximum size, drive letter Z. So then run it. So once you kind of understand what they're trying to do, and what's going to happen, wait for the confirmation the command completed successfully. So let's wait. And then once this is done, we'll go to the VM1, and we'll try to do that using automation. So this time we have done it via portal. We had to do a lot of manual work, right? So in this whole lab, what we are doing, in the first VM0, we have been doing everything manually. And then VM1, we have been using the ARM template. So we'll do the similar type of stuff, but this time we're going to use the ARM template. So it's repeatable and better. So yeah, everything looked like it worked properly, and everything is good. Storage pool is okay. So when this is done, so let's just go back to the other virtual machine. So let's just find it. Here's the VM1. Again, what we will do, uh, export template, blade, click deploy. So let's see, under automation section, automation is usually at the bottom. Yeah, export template. We're gonna click on the deploy again. Okay, then edit template. So that will let us edit template again. And this time we are going to replace the content of the line 30. So let's see what we have on line 30. Line 30, we have the VM size as D2SV3, and we're going to change that to VM size DS1V2. So I can copy this and just copy this and change, and again I do format document. And the next thing we're going to do line 50 for the data disk. So line 50 is the data disk. Nothing is written here. We're going to copy this. So this time we're going to expand the data disk portion and paste it. Again, I'm going to do format document. So this is the section that we added. Okay. So we are adding two different data disks, and then each of them are 1024 gigs, and that's about it. And then I can do save and review and create and create. That's about it. Okay. So now the deployment is going on. And again, wait for about 3 minutes for the deployment is done. And once the deployment is done, we'll go back to the VM and do the same thing. Okay, we still have to run this command over here to really attach and create a Z drive where those two new disks are going to show up. So let's just wait a minute. All right, the deployment is done. So again, what we'll want to do, we'll go to the virtual machine. Uh, there we go, and do the run command and run the PowerShell script to attach the disk. Here again, over here, put the script and run. Again, I would recommend that you read through this, so in a way you will be learning a little bit of PowerShell script as well, and you will know that there are many ways to do a same thing, right? Many ways to skin a cat or something. There's a saying out there. So after that we'll be done, and in this section really what we have learned how to scale compute and storage. So we have changed our compute. First we changed the size of our disk, of our CPU size, and then size of the disks that are attached. So we have done both in this particular. All right, so this command is also successful. So we have learned how to do the compute and the storage, how to scale them manually and also using ARM template. So let's just then come back um, to the next section where we are now going to learn how to register the Microsoft Insights and Microsoft Alerts Management resource providers. Now, in this example, they are doing it from the portal. Okay, so what you can do, let me see something real quick. Subscriptions. If I go to subscriptions, click on Azure subscription, and preview features and resource providers. Okay. So the thing that you're going to learn from here, you can also do it from the portal. You just need to go to the resource providers. And if you go to the resource providers blade, the stuff that are allowed are going to show up like this. Okay, it's the compute, network, storage, advisor, resource health, security, guest config, policy inside. But rest of them are not registered right now. If you want to follow this lab, uh, what you can do, you can go to the Cloud Shell. So again, I'm going to go to the Cloud Shell to open up this, and we're going to stick to parser. From the parser, we're going to run a couple of commands. So the first one is going to give us the Microsoft Insights. So if we search for uh, Microsoft.Insights, you see that it's not registered. So let's just do it from here, paste this and hit enter. So now it just got registered. Okay, now it says registering. So if you refresh, sometimes it will tell you the same thing over here, and now it says registering. Do you see that? Okay, let's, for the other one, let's just do it from the portal. So the other one is the Microsoft Alerts Management. So I'm going to copy that one. And if you just refresh it a couple of times, you will see once it's registered, it will show that it's registered. So in this one, let's just do it. Oh, Alerts Management is also in a registering phase. Oh, when I copied, I think I copied the both of the things at the same time because I clicked this one. So it's registering both of them for me. But for example, if I want to say registered the Microsoft AD, all I need to do is click on this one. Okay, so that's now highlighted. Click the register button, and that will start the registering. And deregistering is the same thing. I will select one of those that is registered and click on the unregistered. Okay, so now you have learned how to register and the deregistered from your CLI and also from the portal. I find it from the portal is pretty easy, so you don't have to go to this CLI. But if you want, either way, you can do it. All right, so the next work task that I have is task 5, where we're going to deploy a zone resilient virtual machine scale sets by using the Azure portal. So again, let's go back to the portal. And this time, instead of virtual machine, we want the virtual machine scale set. So paste it, and there we go. And you see the scale set, the icon is a little different. It's like a 3 virtual machine, they're bind together. Okay, so click on that one. And here we're going to create VMSS. That's what it's called, VMSS virtual machine scale set. And what we'll do, we're gonna set it up the way they are saying. So now we're gonna create a new resource group. Okay, create new, put in there, and region, select one of the regions that support availability zone. So East US absolutely uh, supports availability zone. We are gonna choose all three of them. Okay, so these VMSs can use any availability zone it wants. Uh, then name is going to be this. Let's pick up the name. Name is important. And image is going to be again orchestration. We're just going to go with the default mode, security default mode. Image is 2019 data center Gen 2. That is good. DS2 V3 is good. So let's go ahead and get our username password. Okay, there you go. And then what we'll do, go to the disk. It's very similar with the rest of it, just like any virtual machine. Go to disk, go with the default options, go to networking. On the networking blade, we're gonna create and click the create a virtual network. So here, click on create virtual network. Okay, we're gonna create a brand new one. The name is gonna be this, and I think that is what is that by default name. Address range is gonna be 1082 and subnet 0, and here is going to be 1082.0.0/24, a slice of this address space. uh, so then hit OK. Let's see, once you do OK, let's see, once you create the new virtual network, return to the networking tab, the create virtual machine scale set blade. The virtual network value will be automatically set to AC104.08 RG2 VNet. Okay, so that makes sense. Back on the networking tab, create virtual machine scale set blade. Click the edit network interface. So what is my interface? So edit network interface. Edit network interface is this. So click on that one. In the NIC network security group, click on advanced. Okay, it's the advanced blade. Okay, and then create a new. Okay, create a new, and under the configure network security group drop down list, on the create network security group blade, create network security blade, what they're saying, make the name is AZ104.08 VMS0 and SG. So the name looks good, and we're gonna add an inbound rule. So inbound rule, just add one, just any port, any destination, any, and service is just say custom. Destination port is 80, and protocol is going to be TCP. Action is going to be allow. Priority is 1010 is good, and we're going to call it custom allow HTTP. So this is really the firewall that you are going to apply to your virtual machine skill set. Okay, and in this firewall you're going to open the port 80 so people can come to your website, and then hit add. So you have added this new rule, and back on the edit network interface blade, in the public IP address section, click enable. So we don't need any outbound rule. Inbound rule is what we have created it. Okay, public IP, just enable this one so people can come using a public IP to your virtual machine skill set. All right, so we have done a whole bunch. We have done that. Okay, and now back. So then hit OK. We are still on the networking blade, a lot of things. Under the load balancing section, so next we're going to go to the load balancing section. Ensure that user load balancer entry is selected. So right now it's deselected, so click that one. So now you can use a load balancer. In the load balancer, what we want to do, uh, type of load balancing option, we're going to use the application load balancer, which works at the layer 4. Application gateway is another type of load balancer that works at the application layer, which is layer 7 of the OSA model. We're going to go with the Azure load balancer at the moment. So this one cannot give you protection against web like SQL attack, things like that. This is still based on the 5 tuple source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, and your protocol. So then select a load balancer, new is so that looks good. Select a backend pool. So for every load balancer, you need to create a backend pool, a front end pool, and a health monitor. So here, the backend pool will be the backend BE and then pool. Let's see on the scaling tab. So next we have to go to the scaling since we have chosen the load balancing option. So get the choose scaling tab. So initially you're gonna have two different instances. Okay, and the scaling policy you're gonna manually scale that. Okay. Then on the management tab, so here's the default balances across availability zone and fault domains. Okay, and then delete. Okay, that's all it is. Go to the management next, and then boot diagnostic. You really enable this is enabled. Looks good. Now health. So this is again the health is we are not doing anything with the default setting and go to the advanced. In the advanced one, okay, specify the following setting. Value spreading algorithm, fixed spreading, not recommended with zones. Okay, so this one we're gonna use this fixed spreading. The max spreading setting is currently not functional. That's interesting, right? So they are giving you two algorithms, but Azure is saying, hey, one of the option is not functional. Why would you give it to me, Azure? Anyway, so fault domain count, they didn't tell me to choose anything, so I'm just gonna stick to one for now. Review and create. So that's about it. So just click on review and create. And again, something we must have missed in the basics tab. So go back and it should show up again the password. So let's go find the secret password one more time. So there we go, and there we go. And now we can click the review and create, do the validation again, and validation is successful. So we can hit the create. So that is going to create the virtual machine scale set. Now we have done a lot of things here. This is the step 5, right? So if you go back to the architecture diagram, okay, so you have in this just what we did, we deployed this resource group, we created the virtual network, we created the subnet, we created the virtual machine, we created the NSG, we added a port 80, we created the load balancer, and we also said, hey, give me a public IP. So all of that stuff is really the task 5 that we have just done, or task 6, whichever it is. Let's go figure out which one we just completed. Let's see, task 5. So that is the resources that we have done. So next thing that we're really going to do in the task is configure the Azure Virtual Machine skill sets by using virtual machine extensions. So the thing that we have done to our virtual machine, we're going to do the similar kind of stuff again, but we're going to use our we're going to do that to the virtual machine skill set. Okay. So it's just this may take up to 5 minutes. This deployment. So I'm going to oh, it's actually done. So it didn't take that long. So I click on go to the resource, and this is the virtual machine scale set. That's the resource that I'm in. So I always recommend that you go, and this is the public IP address where it's hosted. So let's just get started with the task 6. So in this one, what we'll do from here again, start for the storage account. Okay, let's see, we still have one. On the storage account layer in the data storage section, click containers. So let's click this one, containers. We already have a container that is scripts that we have created. Okay, back on the scripts, click on upload, and the script we have already uploaded, the AZ10408 install, is the same script they are referring to, which so we don't need to do that. Okay, So we'll just go back to the VMSs. So we're going to go back to this particular virtual machine skill set, play it one more time. Okay. And we're going to go to extensions. And extension is it? Extensions. And then we're going to do again add. Okay. Do the custom script exactly the same way that we have done when we did it manually. Custom script extension. Click, hit next. And again, we need the file. We're going to browse the storage account, go to the scripts folder, get the file, hit select. No arguments needed, hit create. Okay, so now it's installing the extension. So, so we have done everything down to the step 10. And now it says successfully installed the extension virtual machine skill set. Let's see. Okay, what do we do next? So next is wait for the installation of the to complete before proceeding to the next step. So this is done. So now if you go back to the settings, okay, click on instances. So instances, there should be two because that's what we have said, that we need two instances to begin with. Select the checkboxes next to the two instances of the virtual machine and click upgrade. Okay, and then you need to click the upgrade. Okay, upgrade virtual machine is using this action will manually upgrade the selected instances to the latest model. While upgrading, the instances may be restarted. Do you want to upgrade? And hit select, say yes. So this upgrade is most likely now going to go look at the script and actually will install your IIS server. Okay, excuse me. Now it says wait for the upgrade to complete before proceeding to the next step. So let's just give it a minute, make it a little bit bigger. And so this is what is going on. So first we have deployed the extension. Now we are upgrading the virtual machine. So the script is most likely running inside these two machines at the moment. So let's pause for a second. All right, looks like this deployment is now done. It says I've successfully upgraded the virtual machine instances. So one thing I'm gonna do quickly is if I go to the networking, so you see the port 22 is allowed. So this is and port 80 is also allowed. Now this one is interesting. I don't know why port 22 is allowed because it's a Windows machine, but port 80 is allowed because of the uh, web traffic, right? So if I go to our overview blend, pick up the IP address, and if I try to just go there, I might be able to get to the web server if it's actually running. And there we go. So now it went to the VM1, and it's actually right now what I did. I it may be even using the load balancer. Let me try to go there for a couple times and see what happens. It's still going to VM1. I'll try one more time and then go back to the lab. So all three times it went to VM1. So, but I know that the web server got installed properly. All right, so next, let's see what next we need to do. So we had done with this. So now let's go to the load balancer. So let's just come back. And the name of the load balancer that we created at the time of deployment is this. There you go. That's a layer 4 load balancer. In that load balancer blade, note the value of the public IP address. So this is where we probably need to go. Okay, let's go find the public IP address. What is my public IP address? Make it big. Hold on. Where is my probably under front end? Okay, so what I need to go to the front end IP configuration. So that is the public IP address, which is different than 230. Is it different or is it the same? It's the same. So what it did, since we have deployed everything together, uh, you are getting that public IP address that is attached to the load balancer as the IP address of your virtual machine skill set, which is good. So, so again, is what it's saying. Go there and note that the value of the IP address assigned to the front end of the load balancer. Open a new pair and then navigate to the IP address. That's what we did. Verify that the browser page displays the name of one of the instances, and that is what is expected. It can go to the instance one or two, but it will go to one of them because the load balancer will divert your traffic to either one or two. So the last thing that we need to do, scale compute and storage for the Azure Virtual Machine scale set. Similar thing, right? In this task, you will change the size of the virtual scale set instance. So go over here, go to the virtual scale set, and then go to setting and then say exactly the same. So go back to the VMSS. You can just search for virtual machine scale sets, and we have only one, so it should be really easy to click on it. Go to the size. Again, it's one of the sizes selected, and just use TS1V2. So this is that one. Just say resize. That's about it. And once we are done resizing in the settings, click on the instances, select the checkboxes next to the two instances of the virtual machine skill set, and hit the upgrade. So every single time you do that, you go to the instances, select both, and hit upgrade, and that is gonna take and make sure that your instances are reflecting the new changes that you have made. So again, let's give it a second for this to be done. The next thing that we're going to do in the list of instances, click the entry represent the first instance, and on the scale set instance plate, note its location. It should be one of the zones in the target Azure region into which you deploy. So let's first get it done, then we'll do the remaining. We still have a little bit left that we need to work on. So let's see what's going on. It's still upgrading, so that's done. So the upgrade is now done. So most probably if I go and look at each of the virtual machine, that's now changed to standard DS1V2. So that's exactly what we wanted. And if I go to the other one, okay, virtual machine skill set, instances, go to the other instance, it should also tell me that is using DS1V2. So very good. Very good. So that the resizing was successful. All right. So now it's saying in the list of instances, click on the first instance. So click over this one again. It is in this zone one. Okay. Return to instances where click the entry present the second instance. So go to here, go to the second instance and look at the zone. It's now in zone two. Okay. They will never be in the same zone. In other two zones. Okay, so that we have verified that their instances are actually running in two different zones. Now return to the instance and the setting sections, click on scaling. So go back to this and go back to the scaling section. So again, here's the scaling, but all the time I just do scaling from here, click on that one. Now when we deploy, we just set the manual scale. Okay, so this time we're going to go custom auto scale option. So we're going to do something a little bit more crazy. Okay, in this one we're going to call it scale mode, scale based on a metric. Okay, so there are many ways you can do this. Let's maybe we need to expand this one just a little. Custom resource group, that's the default auto creator scale condition. What we need to do, okay, we need to add a rule. So here add a scale condition, and this time scale based on a metric is what we're going to do. Okay, scale based on a metric. Let's see. Then at this time, what we will do, we'll have to create under rules, add a rule, and the rule we're going to set some metric source is the current resource. So current resource is good. Time aggregation is average is good. Metric namespace is virtual machine host is good. metric name is network in total. So change the percentage CPU to the one that we have, that is metric name is network in total. Do I have it available? Network in total. So change that. Okay. So we are here. Operator is going to be greater than, so that is your operator down here. This greater than is good. Metric threshold to trigger scale action is 10. Okay, 10, and duration is going to be in 1 minute. 1 minute. And time gain statistics is average. Time gain is average. Operation increase count by 1. Count by instance count is 1, and cool down after 5 minutes. So that's all we have. That's good. Now these are the values that you will probably not be using in a production environment. Remember that. Okay, this is only for the demo in the lab. And just click add. Uh, Click add. Specify the following setting. Instance limit maximum is 1. Sorry, the minimum is 1. The maximum is 3. So default we set 2. Minimum we are saying 1, and the default is 1. So 131 is good. So now I can hit save in here, and that's about it. So that's a rule that we have completed. So now next thing that we need to do in the portal, open the Azure Cloud Shell, and what we're gonna do, we are gonna figure out the IP address of the load balancer. Okay, so that's they're teaching you how to do it using the PowerShell, but we already know the IP address, right? The IP address is right there. That is the IP address. So let's just verify that it also works from here. So open up your Cloud Shell, just down here, reconnect, and make it smaller. And once it's here, I'm going to paste all of that. And if I hit enter, so it's getting the resource group name, then the load balancer IP address name, and then it's going to get the IP address. Okay, so you have that now with you. From the Cloud Shell, run the following to start an infinite loop that sends HTTP request to the website. So copy that one and paste it. While true, invoke HTTP PIP. So it's sending a lot of HTTP requests. Minimize the Cloud Shell but do not close it. Switch back to the instances play to monitors. So minimize this and go to instances and monitor. So right now it has got two of them, right? And what it thinks is gonna happen, this instances count will be 3. Once something happens, it hits our criteria for the scaling factor. So let's read. You might need to wait a couple of minutes and click on the refresh button. We'll come back to networking, go back to instances, still doing that. Let's make it a bit bigger. It's still going on. Going on. I'm just going to let it run for a minute or so, and I'll tell you when it actually becomes an effective one. Okay, I'm actually going to pause for a second. Alright, after running this attack for a little bit, I have the third instances that is getting created, and if I click on that one, that should be deployed in the third zone. And that's about it for this section. Okay, and once you are done, the next thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the disk and create and attach new disk. So we have uh, changed our scaling. Now we're gonna work on our disk. Let's see how to do that. So really, we need to go to the disk next. So let's go to the disk. I'm still under the, no, I have to go back here and then go to the disk. And in the disk, we're gonna click similar to the virtual machine, and we're gonna do our first one. And the first one is gonna be, hold on. Okay, looks like you don't need to provide any name. It's just change that to standard HDD, standard HDD, and 32 gigs is good. Um, and then save. Okay, so that's all you needed. But once we did that, we gotta go to the sections, click on instances. So we gotta do the upgrade thing again. So go back to instances. Well, let's just save this one first. Okay, so new configuration. So we have attached a new disk to the VMSS scale set. But every time we're doing something, we're going back and upgrading, right? So we'll do that. So click on this one. So it's updating the virtual machine skill set right now with the new disk that we have attached. As soon as this is done, I'm going to go to instances and do the upgrade. Now this step is still going on. Okay, while this is going on, just understand that once we are adding this disk, this is going to be added as a raw disk. Okay, you cannot use it. Before you can actually use, you have to create a partition, create a file system, and then mount it. Okay, and for this lab, we are going to use the Azure Virtual Machine Custom Script extension, similar to what we have done with the virtual machines. We're going to do that, and we will need to remove the existing custom script extension first before we do this. So I'm just going to give it another minute for this to be done, for this step where we are saving a new disk. As soon as we're done with this, we will work on this. Okay, I'm pausing. All right, now this step, it took a while for this to get attached. The next thing that we need to do, go back to the instances. Okay, select all three of them for now, and I'm gonna do upgrade. You may have two. If you have two, don't worry about it. Just click on upgrade and let it upgrade this one. Okay, so once this is upgraded, uh, so what we are doing here, so this is the one that we are doing right now. Okay, so it's now going through the upgrade process. Once this is done, we'll go to the extension and go to the customer. So this upgraded is done. So if I now go to this virtual machine, the disk is available, but we have to attach it and format it like this. So let's just go to extension. Oops, extensions. There's my extension. And this one, we have to get rid of it first. Okay, so just click on uninstall. So that will get rid of the extension that we have previously added. And what we want to do, we in the toolbar click on the upload. We need a file. Okay, configure VMSS disk. This file we need. So what we'll do, we are on step 24. We're gonna go back here. Oops, gonna go back to here, then labs 08, and this is the script that we need. And again, I recommend that you always look at the script and understand what it's doing. So it's assigning the resource group name, then the virtual machine skill set name, and then what you're doing, you're getting the properties of your virtual machine skill set based on the resource group and the name. Then you are setting the public setting. So you're gonna go to the GitHub to get your content of the file, and you're gonna command to execute PowerShell execution policy unrestricted file prepare VM disk PS1. That is what you're gonna execute, and you will have the file here. And then you're gonna add the ACVM extension with this particular parameters. You're gonna say name, publisher, type, type handler, and setting. And at the end, you're gonna update the skill set and apply the custom script. So I'm just gonna save this one first to my AZ104 and go back here, go back to instructions, labs, lab 8 is what we're doing. We're almost done with it. So let's go down to the very bottom, 24 here. So over here, in this one, I want to pick up a cloud shell and stick to the PowerShell and what we'll do, we'll upload that file here, upload the VMSS PS1 to our cloud shell. The upload is now done. And over here from the cloud shell, we're gonna run this command. So here, what is gonna do the set location is home, and then it just got the script installed, the custom script configuration that configures that as this. So did it do anything? So get content. So the get content is here. It's showing this is the content, and then we're gonna run this. Now we have to execute the script. So this is actually gonna do the stuff for us. Okay. So this script is actually going to do the things for us and install the script. And once this is done, this is not done yet. Okay, this is actually is running. Okay, once this is done, we're gonna, yeah, now it's done. All is good. And once this is done, we can close the cloud shell. I'm just gonna minimize that one. Go back to the setting. So setting and click on the instances. So click on the instances. Select checkboxes again. Let's do the same thing. All three checkboxes and upgrade and yes, and that's about it. So we have done now. You have learned how to uh, increase the compute using the scaling. That's the horizontal scaling. Okay, with the virtual machine, what we have done the vertical scaling, where you have just changed the compute of one particular virtual machine. With the VMSS virtual machine scale set, you have done horizontal scaling. Actually, you have also done the vertical scaling as well. But in cloud, it's preferred that you build your application using the horizontal scaling. And that's about it, just the end of our lab. So we have completed all of the steps successfully. And really pay attention to what we have done uh, and do this over and over again until it makes sense to you. A few things that I can suggest that you can deviate from the lab a little bit. You can create your network and the load balancers first as a separate resource, and then maybe try to deploy the VMSS. And while you're deploying, maybe select the load balancer that you have already created. So try out a few different iterations of the lab until it makes sense to you. Play with the scaling some more and understand and make sure that all the scaling makes sense. And that's about it. So hopefully this lab was helpful to you. So I'm going to get rid of and clean everything. So again, I'm going to go back to our Cloud Shell. Uh, what we'll do, we're going to run this command for us. So that's going to delete all the folders that we created in this Cloud Shell. And then we're just going to run and see what we have. We have so much stuff for this particular lab that we've done. And we are going to run this command, and that is going to get everything that we created and remove all of them. And since it's running as a job, it's actually running in the behind, and it will take care of all the resources it will clean up. So again, as a review, we deployed a zone resilient Azure virtual machine using the Azure portal. So use two different virtual machines deployed in two different zones. Then we have configured the Azure virtual machines using the virtual machines extension. We installed the IIS web server, okay, using the PowerShell script extension. We also did the automation using the RPM plan. Then we did scale compute and storage for the virtual machine. We changed the compute and we have also added additional disk. Then we deployed zone resilient Azure virtual machine scale sets. Okay, so again, we deployed in multiple zones. Then we also learned how to configure the Azure virtual machine scale sets using virtual machine extensions. And finally, we scale the compute and storage for the scale sets as well. Okay, so a lot of things. Take your time, practice, and be successful. Thank you very much for watching.